taxed. And this taxing was first made when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of David, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. Just a thought and devotions. I remember asking this question in January to all the kids who were on holiday. And what the question simply was, when you got on the road with your parents, whether you were going to Florida, whether you were going west, east, or north, did you ever get to a spot and Dad was driving and he said, oh, we'll just go a little bit further and there'll be a room there? And then you get to the next town or the next city and they say, oh, we'll just go a little bit further and there'll be a room there? And as you go along, the sun goes down, it gets dark out, maybe a snowstorm, you're heading down there through the States, through some of the Midwest or out west or wherever you're going, and the vacancy signs suddenly become no vacancy. And almost every kid in my classes, whenever I asked that, would put up their hand and say, yeah, that's what my dad did. Dad did. And Mom got really mad. I love the Christmas story because it's so real. It's so practical. I mean, I think there were 3 verses in there about being taxed, and we can all relate to that, can't you? Especially if you've been out in the stores and you see where the HST and all of that is going on top of things. It's a really practical thing. But one thing I want to share with you just now is that if you open your Bible and really let it speak to you, as this story is, it's life transforming, and it gives us motivation that as we enter 2019 and look at some of our concerns, our fears, our hopes, our dreams, some very special things will happen. Our very first Christmas as officers, it was this night. We were really tired. We were in Fort Erie. Fort Erie is a border town, for those of you who are not familiar with it. Everything closes down on the weekend, and I get the responsibility of dealing with all the social calls on the side of the Peace Bridge and the other side that are Canadians. I got to know the Border Patrols really well, and they would just see us coming. And I can remember that night, we had just got all the kettles in and we were doing it. We had our service, we'd done that, and the manager of the local AMP came up to me and said, Christmas is now on Monday. It's going to be the whole weekend. The bread's going to go bad. Can you please take it and distribute it? We had a little boy, our oldest son, who's now this big, was this big down there, and we had people looking after him. And I said to my wife, Kathy, maybe after our service, what we'll do is we'll swing around by AMP and just get a few loaves and deliver them. We had a 14-passenger van full of a bakery. I kid you not. You could not move in there. And all we did that evening was like a sort of Santa Claus kind of person. We went from place to place and we just delivered it to poor families in the area of Fort Erie and across that region. And as we did that and we gave the bread away and people said thank you and they were smiling and they were doing it, suddenly something of Christmas became very real to me in a very special way. I've seen that happen in people here. I've seen many of you give of yourselves through your businesses, through your time, through helping other people, sometimes just coming on Sunday and just giving us a smile and an encouragement and saying hello to us. I've seen you work with kids and prepare things in your house. I've seen you do so much there, and that's what life is all about. That's why Jesus came. That's why it says here, and she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes. God in Jesus is about doing kind things for other people. And just as Mary wrapped Jesus in what he needed, Jesus works through us to help other people be wrapped in what they need. I don't know about you, but isn't that something this world really needs right now? People to care about other people. People to be there, and not necessarily for the down and out on the street, but who God leads you through. Do you know that a rich businessman might need some caring sometimes? When I say to people that we can come to Oakville and we can share with it, I'm pretty sure that all of the poverty that is here is not maybe over around the Kerr Street Mission or in other pockets. I think in some of these wealthy houses, there are some people who are poor. They may be poor emotionally, they may be poor in other ways that we can't imagine. It's a common knowledge that a homeless person isn't necessarily over a grader. It could be a kid who's sleeping on somebody else's couch in another place. We have a mission here. We have hope. And God will help us to help those that He brings to us to do that. And I look forward to 2019, sharing with you as we go forward and we see that. May God bless you and give you just what you need this time to do that. I'm going to call Gord to come forward with me now at this time. And we will light. Who's the important person in our faith?
It's not a captain.
Not the captain, that's for sure. That's why I'm in black. I'm more like the enemy, yeah. Yes?
Jesus?
Jesus. This is the Christ candle. And it's special because Christ, as I said to you before, was not created, but He was born. Jesus has been with us all the time. And it's with that we are going to come now and light candles. And then after we have lit all of our candles, we're going to turn out just some of the lights maybe at the backboard.
Yep.
And we're going to maybe sing the 2 verses of Silent Night Seated. And then I would like to ask you to stand and we'll sing that last one with that way. So here we go. And hopefully we came from a church, some of the families here will know, it actually did burn down about 10 years ago. Not because we were there. So if we're being careful, we have reason to be careful. So if I could just light maybe the person on the end and you can pass it carefully to the next person. And as we do this, may I encourage you to do what the little chorus says, this Christmas